Welcome to Cody Mullins Outdoors, and on today's show I want to talk about mouth calls and which kind you should buy. I've had a lot of people ask me in the past, they say, Cody, what kind of mouth call should I give? I'm just beginning, or which mouth calls do you prefer, or just all different kinds of questions for mouth calls. And today I'm going to deal with some of those questions I've been asked and even demonstrate a few of them for you. But if you're just a beginning turkey hunter, say this spring will be your first time in the woods, my favorite starter pack or starter set of calls would have to be HS Strut Hunter Specialties. They make really good stuff, and if you buy the starter pack, it's really inexpensive, and you can get you get a pretty good deal for what you pay in the calls. I've used them for years. I've killed quite a few birds using them, and they have a really good sound quality to them. And I would suggest them if you're just beginning and starting out in the sport of turkey hunting. And I'll even demonstrate a few of them for you. I have these calls are about a year old, so they're probably going to sound a little rough, but my favorite probably has to be the Easy Rasp. It just has a good sound quality to it. The cut and the latex is just great for it. And here's your little sample of what it sounds like. It's got really good yelps and good clucks to it, and that's about all you need. But I would suggest if you're just starting out, though, that's a little bit more on once you start picking up the hang of it. But just to start making sounds and trying just to learn with a mouth call, I'd suggest the Double D, which is 2 straight pieces of latex, and neither one of them have been cut. And you can just start making sounds or practice with it. Now with it's a little more higher pitch than most calls. Usually if you put a cut in it, it adds a little rasp to it. The Double D is just pure and straight. It sounds more like a young hen, and it's a lot less, it's not very forgiving, let's just put it that way. You can make a lot more mistakes with just a clean Double D, but I really like HS Strut calls, and I prefer them. They're probably my favorite at mouth calls. But also another good call I found, purchased last year before the season opened, and I used them some and caught a few birds up with it, was Michael Waddell's the Flex Tone series with the spur collector. And it's a three latex reed with a V cut in it. And it has pretty good sound to it, and I really like them. It's kind of raspy, but once you start getting a little bit better with your calling and you want to try something new, and just go for it, give it a shot. That's what I would do. Because the more you experiment with different calls, you'll find which ones you like better. Like my uncle and my papa prefer different calls than I do. It just depends on how your mouth is shaped and what kind of texture you prefer in the diaphragm. But this is what the spur collector sounds like. It's a little raspier, and like I said, these calls are a year old, so my calling sounds pretty rough right now, but I try to save my calls and preserve them till a little bit closer to season. That way they don't wear out as quickly, because most of the time with mouth calls you have to replace them every year. But another call I've just recently bought, and I haven't used it yet, but it's Primo's the True Double. And it's a lot like the Double D here in the HS Strut series. It's just 2 straight reeds. There's no cuts in them. Just makes simple, easy sounds. And I look forward to trying it this spring with the old gobblers. But I would suggest just start out with a Double D reed. And I really appreciate the view today and appreciate you watching my show. And I hope you find an interest in the outdoors.